This meeting of the Select Board is called to order on October 24th, 2023 at 6:15 PM. This meeting is being held in person and/or remotely as an alternate means of public access pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023 and all other applicable laws temporarily amending certain provisions of the open meeting law. You are hereby advised that this meeting and all communications during this meeting may be recorded by the Town of Hingham in accordance with the open meeting law. If any participant wishes to record this meeting, please notify the chair at the start of the meeting in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 20F, so that the chair may inform all other participants of said recording. Is anyone else recording the meeting? Okay. I will note for the record, participating this evening are myself, Liz Klein, Chair, Joe Fisher, and Bill Ramsey. First on our agenda is executive session under Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining with the Hingham Police Patrolmen's Association and the Police Superior Officers Union Local 405. The board will reconvene in open session after the executive session. Before I entertain a motion to go into executive session under item 2 of the agenda, I hereby declare that discussion of this agenda item in an open session may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the town.
So I move that we enter into executive session under Mass General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 2121A3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining with the Hingham Police Patrolmen's Association and the Police Superior Officers Union Local 405. The board will reconvene in open session after the executive session.
Second.
Roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. We will be back shortly. All right, we are back, 7:04. Next on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. If you're willing and able, please stand for the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is approval of minutes. I believe we have one set in front of us.
I'm prepared.
Okay, Bill?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve the minutes dated October 10th, 2023.
Second.
Roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Passes unanimously. Next on the agenda is appointment of police prosecutors and special police officers. We have Deputy Chief Ryan O'Shea with us. Welcome. All right, do you want to explain what's happening here?
Sure. We have actually 4 different appointments tonight. One is appointing a special officer. I could save that to last. The other are yearly appointments. So we're respectfully asking to reappoint our special police officers. We do this every October. Our special officers work for the Hingham Police Department. They don't work in the patrol capacity, but they assist the department by working at community events, including town and state elections, town meeting, 4th of July, parade, and other important events, as well as road details. We maintain the same standards of training as a full-time officer, including in-service training, range qualification, post-certification, CPR, and other necessary trainings as we assign them. They attend training on their own time and at their own expense. They come from a variety of backgrounds. For example, some are retired officers, either from Hingham or other departments, while others may have full-time jobs. We have one special officer who's a teacher, another is a firefighter, but they all play an important role in assisting our department and our community. Just to note that Animal Control Officer Badger, Harbor Master Corson, and Assistant Harbor Master Driscoll are special officers as part of their job functions. So we'd ask to reappoint those officers if we could. We're asking to reappoint our liquor enforcement officers. They're appointed yearly, and they enforce the laws of the Liquor Control Act and the regulations of the Alcoholic Beverage Control Commission. This function has been traditionally in our department assigned to the Detective Division. Liquor enforcement officers inspect all licensed liquor establishments in the town of Hingham and forward violations to the Office of the Select Board for review. One of the officers, Detective Tracy, is scheduled for a refresher training coming up, so he'll be up to speed on all the latest updates. And finally, we're asking to appoint prosecutors as special officers. This is, again, a yearly appointment. Hingham District Court in Hingham is located at 28 George Washington Boulevard, and we have police officers from different departments, including Hanover, Hull, Norwell, Rockland, and Situate, who work at the court as prosecutors for their agencies. We asked them to appoint them as special police officers for Hingham. It just gives them an extra ability to act in the court if necessary. They would otherwise be covered under a mutual aid agreement, but this is an extra layer of protection as they're spending the majority of their day at court in the town of Hingham. There's no cost or training involved in this, and as I mentioned, that's yearly. And finally, just asking to appoint an additional special officer, and you've been kind enough to appoint several over the last month. This will be the last one for a while. Phil Kearney is a retired Boston police officer. He worked for the Boston Police Department for 35 years. He retired in March of 2020. During his career, he was involved in community policing in his district, and he worked at many special events, including at Fenway Park. He currently works as a deputy sheriff for the Plymouth County Sheriff's Department, but he's interested in working in community and working consistently. He's in the process of a background investigation, including a psychological exam, a drug test, a review of his personnel file and his training records. So we ask that his hiring be contingent on the successful completion of that process. We feel he'd be another excellent addition to our roster of special police officers, and I appreciate your consideration of the matter and listening to me ramble on about all those things.
No, that's very helpful. Thank you. Just one question on Phil Kearney. When do you expect that background check to be complete?
Probably by the end of next week.
Okay. And just to remind me, so how long is that appointment? Is that also a year, or is
Yeah,
that-
so he would, just because of the timing, it would be a year along with all
Okay.
the other ones.
Okay. And the police prosecutors and special police officers, are any of those reappointments, or are those all new?
Everything is a reappointment. So all the prosecutors and the special officers are all reappointments, so they've already
Okay.
previously been.
Got it,
Appointed.
okay. Excellent, thank you. Joe?
No, I was going to ask to what extent these were reappointments, but you've answered it. No other questions, thank you.
Bill?
No questions. I'm familiar with the vast majority of the reappointments, and I understand the procedure as to why we appoint police prosecutors as specials too, so.
Excellent. Any questions or comments from members of the public? Okay.
Just one other question. With
Sure.
respect to Phil Kearney, is this contingent on a background check or something else in addition to that?
Kind of the whole process. So they're in the process of doing the background check. He does have a medical exam next week, but he has passed his drug test and his initial intake, so we're like in the middle of the process, kind of.
Got it. So would our vote to approve him be contingent on your confirmation that he's completed the process successfully?
Yes, please.
Okay, got it.
Okay. I'm ready to take a motion.
So,
Do you want to start?
Go ahead.
I was going to start with,
I'll do the other one.
that I move to appoint Philip Kearney as a special police officer for the town of Hingham through October 31, 2024, contingent upon confirmation by the chief that he has successfully completed the process for this appointment.
Second.
Roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well.
I'd make a motion to reappoint the following individuals as special police officers for the town of Hingham through October 31st, 2024. Animal Control Officer Leslie Badger, Harbor Master Kenneth Corson, Assistant Head Harbor Master Joseph Driscoll, Ryan Baring, Douglas Coleman, Brian Doherty, Matthew Galvin, David Hort, George Kelly, Robert Mansfield, Daniel Martini, William Morgan, Michael Murray, John Narcitis, John Norris, Matthew Pulio, James Tian, Jeffrey Trainer, Joseph Turco, Eric Weissmeyer, and Stephen Wagamuth.
Second.
Roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well.
I move that we appoint the following individuals as liquor enforcement officers for the town of Hingham through October 31, 2024.
Second.
Nope. Haven't got
I'm
them.
sorry. Go ahead.
Detective Sergeant Philip Emmett, Detective Michael Gervasi, Detective Heather Hermida, and Detective Scott Tracy.
Second now.
Roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well.
I make a motion to appoint the following police prosecutors and backups as special police officers for the town of Hingham through October 31st, 2024. Hanover Police Sergeant Daniel Salfucci, Hanover Police Sergeant Derek Richards, Hull Police Officer Kevin Olson, Norwell Police Sergeant William Pasteris, Norwell Police Detective Kenneth Camarado, Norwell Police Officer Sean Sutton, Rockland Police Officer Jeffrey DiRenzo, Rockland Police Officer Joseph Zalinski, Situate Police Sergeant James Bowman, Situate Police Sergeant Jeffrey Shula.
Second.
Roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
I'm an aye as well. They'll pass unanimously. Thank
Great.
you so
Thank you
much,
very much.
Deputy. Next on the agenda is to consider approval, he's not here, okay, we'll move on. To consider approval of change order number 3 with Colantonio Incorporated for the removal and disposal of asbestos-containing material, removal of existing steam line, and site grading revisions for the public safety facility project. I think we have Paul Callis with us. I see Bob Garrity. Oh, yep, JR. Is Matthew Hennessy? I don't think I see Matthew.
If you'd like me,
I'm here for Phil.
Oh, okay, excellent. Thank you. Welcome.
you want me to tee it up?
Sure.
So this is our first change, our third change order for the public safety facility project. In the site remediation or the site work that we were doing, we had identified several ACMs or asbestos-containing materials on site, as is common on these old sites. And it was around some pipes, there was some tar in the building, the old building that had to be remediated, et cetera. The DEP puts forward regulations and process to remediate all of this, all these ACMs, and that's what we had to do. This is to pay for that work. Obviously, since we didn't know they were there until we got into the site, we couldn't budget for it, but that's what the contingency is for, and the contingency will pay for this change order. How'd I do, Paul? Paul Callis?
What's that, Tom?
How'd I do? Did I get it right?
Yeah, it did real well. The construction, the budget for the project includes construction contingency to cover expenses for differing conditions, such as, asbestos-containing materials that weren't previously known.
Okay, excellent. And can you just remind us what the contingency budget was and just what portion this is?
Yes, the contingency is $1,609,560, and the change order that is in front of you for approval tonight is $132,078.79. We, two previous change orders that we had a significant credit involved in it. So the amount of money that we're taking from contingency to cover change orders through change order number 3, which includes this one, is $45,000.69.
Wow.
So all the way through 3 change orders here, 4 months. So far, we're in for $45,000 so far.
Great.
So
I will note, Paul, that the credit change orders are far more fun than these ones, but do what you can there, will you?
yeah, Tom can sign those.
That's right. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Paul. Joe, do you have any questions?
No, this is a thorough presentation. I understand. I've got no issue with this.
Bill?
My only questions were about where the money was going to come from, but Tom answered it for me,
Yep.
so thank you.
Okay, excellent. Any questions or comments from members of the public? Okay,
So I'll make a motion to authorize the town administrator to sign change order number 3 with Colantonio, Inc. for the removal and disposal of asbestos-containing material, removal of existing steam line, and site grading revisions for the public safety facility project in an amount not to exceed $132,078.79.
Second.
roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. It passes unanimously. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay.
Take it dismissed.
Yes, thank you. Next on the agenda is to consider approval of the agreement with RAD Corporation doing business as RAD or RAD Sports for the reconstruction of the Cronin Field basketball court. We have Mark Thorell and Kathy Riley with us. Welcome, how are you?
Good evening.
Do you want to explain, Mark?
Sure. So we were awarded funds from CPC to renovate the Cronin basketball court. Now, when the bids came in, they were higher than anticipated. So we will have to cover the delta with the rec revolving funds. So the lowest bid came in at $198,000, and we received $178,945 from CPC. So there will be a difference that we have to make up, but we're prepared to make that financial difference up within the rec revolving fund.
Okay.
So that's about 20,000.
The 198,000 from RAD does not include the design fees, which was 44,000.
Okay. So this contract, the total is 198,332? Okay. And we're expecting to get the 178 from CPC, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And when will they start the work?
We're hoping by the end of November.
Okay. And be ready by June 1st?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Joe, any questions?
No, I know this was reviewed by CPC, the project, so I'm comfortable moving forward.
Bill?
How are the street hockey courts coming along? I know we approved that.
Good. The courts have been demolished, and I know that they were uploading all the permit paperwork that the building department needed to proceed with the court, and I believe that's done. So we're looking to see some progress here in the next couple of weeks. So it's in the middle of it, and hopefully we'll start to see the post-tension concrete come in within the next few weeks.
Is that a June 1st deadline as well? Or
I think it was earlier than that because
Earlier
we
than
signed
that.
it last year.
Great, yeah, okay,
So
fantastic.
It should be done before that, don't you think?
Yeah, I think we did have a
was the
tighter
fall.
deadline on that, yeah.
Because is that the one that's being done at the same time as the tennis courts?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that'll be ready for spring season, right?
It should be. The tennis courts did start construction earlier than the street hockey
Okay.
court. The street hockey court was just demolished about a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And I was at the high school over the weekend, and the high school tennis courts look great.
Yeah,
I
this,
mean, they're
that
coming in,
project's
they've
definitely
laid
coming
the,
along. Yeah,
the base. It looks very nice, so that's great to see that coming along as well, so.
yeah, that is great
You guys have a
progress
lot,
there.
rec has a lot of capital projects going on, which is great. I know that's with the school department, but I know the rec was involved with it, so.
Yeah, no, we're excited to see these projects come through, yeah.
Excellent. Any questions or comments from members of the public? Okay.
Make a motion to authorize the town administrator to sign the agreement with RAD Corporation doing business as RAD Sports for the reconstruction of the Cronin Field basketball court in an amount not to exceed $198,332.
Second.
Roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Passes unanimously.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you,
Take care.
Kathy. Okay. Next on the agenda is to designate an authorized preparer to Plymouth County's American Rescue Plan Act program. Michelle, are you going to walk us through this?
So
Thank
the board
you.
may recall that about 2 years ago, you guys took a vote because Plymouth County is making different allocations of ARPA funds available to its member communities. And they've asked that each town designate 2 roles so that we can use their online ARPA portal to access this money and submit the reimbursement requests. The town administrator is one of those positions, and previously the board had designated the town accountant as the other one. But since our current town accountant is moving on to greener pastures, I'm asking that the board consider authorizing my position as the authorized preparer and filer so that we can keep this process going and continue to submit reimbursements to Plymouth County for their ARPA funds. They're making 2 large buckets of funds available to Hingham. One is for revenue replacement that we've planned to use in different ways, and the other we're mostly going to be using for water and sewer and stormwater infrastructure projects that we've talked about in the past. I'm happy to walk through those buckets as reminders, but that's generally just asking you guys to update this position tonight so that we can keep moving forward.
Okay, excellent. And we've confirmed with Tom O'Brien that is,
Yes, I've let Tom O'Brien
Appropriate.
and Matt Hanley, the other person who works very close with him, know that we're asking you guys to take this vote, and I was speaking with them today to talk about the reimbursements that we've submitted so far to see where they are in the process, so that we can get some stuff in the door.
okay, excellent. Well, I'm certainly comfortable with you being our person. Do you have any questions or comments?
So once we approve this, is there a form that needs to be filed, or how is it communicated?
I will let them know. I'll provide a copy of the vote to them that we've done in the past, and they'll need to set me up in the portal and kind of, get my login credentials that way.
Great. Absolutely, this makes sense.
Bill?
Yeah, perfect person to do it. 100%.
Excellent. Any questions or comments from members of the public? Okay.
So I move to designate the Assistant Town Administrator for Finance as the authorized preparer and filer on behalf of the Town of Hingham for American Rescue Plan Act program funds through the County of Plymouth, Massachusetts.
Second.
Roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Passes unanimously. Thank you. Thank you for all your work on this. Okay, and just a question on that. And so we have, the authorized recipient is still the town administrator? We don't have to
That's right.
vote on that?
Nope,
Okay.
you already did.
We already
before.
did that.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay, all right, so are we waiting for, Bliss Point?
Looks like
Oh,
he's joined.
maybe he just
there.
joined.
Yeah.
Right on cue.
Well done, Liz. How did you do that?
And you bring him up. There he is.
Excellent. Jeff, welcome. We are on your agenda item, to consider approval of the application by a farmer winery for license to sell at a farmer's market submitted by Bliss Point LLC, doing business as Bliss Point, 1 Fox Run Road, Bedford, Massachusetts.
Yes, hi, I'm Jeff, and I apologize, I put the wrong time in my calendar. I'm amazed that you jumped right to me when I...
No worries. Sometimes it works out.
Yeah, yes, Jeff Venuti, owner of Bliss Point Meadery. We participated in the Hingham Summer Farmers Market as a mead vendor, a wine vendor, and we'd like to continue doing so through the winter market as well.
Excellent. Yes, I remember you coming before us before, and I have visited your booth. It sounds like it's going well at the summer market.
Yeah, we had a really good time connecting with Hingham residents and surrounding communities as well. They seem to really like our product, and we want to continue bringing it to them.
Excellent, thank you. And I'm not aware of any issues or safety concerns.
The chief has signed up.
Okay, excellent. Joe, do you have any questions?
Nope, I also have visited the booth at the farmer's market. I think it's well done. It's a good addition, so I've got no issues. Thank you.
Bill?
Great.
No questions.
Okay, any questions or comments from members of the public? Seeing none?
I make a motion to approve the issuance of a special farmer's market license to Bliss Point LLC, doing business as Bliss Point Meadery, 1 Fox Run Road, Bedford, Mass., for the sale of its wine products at the 2024 Hingham Farmers Market, to be held on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. beginning January 6, 2024, and ending March 30th, 2024.
Second.
Roll call vote. Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. It passes unanimously. Thank you so much.
It's good to see you.
All right.
Yeah, nice
Thank
to see
Select
you.
Board.
Good luck this winter.
All right, appreciate it.
Next on the agenda is discussion and potential vote regarding the select board naming policy. Tom, do you want to?
Sure. So
us through this.
we've taken this issue up for a couple of meetings now. We introduced the topic, a month and a half ago, maybe, after town meeting voted to adopt the bylaw back last spring. And this, of course, is on the heels of the naming bylaw committee's work. In order to implement the bylaw, we have to have a policy to set the steps on how best to implement that bylaw, and that's what we're talking about. We've come up with a couple of ideas we've presented to the public. We've asked for feedback. That feedback has been coming in. We've received several versions or pieces of feedback from different members of the public. We've incorporated them into a new draft that is being circulated, but I think that's kind of where we're at.
Okay, excellent, thank you. And thank you to everyone who submitted feedback. We read through all of it, incorporated most of it, so it was very valuable to us in this process, so thank you. Do you want to show, Michelle, I think this version it's the policy that we all reviewed at our last meeting, with a few red lines from, again, resident feedback, as well as John Coughlin's feedback. So there was a question here, I know we've talked a lot about what does widely advertised public meeting mean, or what does widely advertised mean? And there was a question about the town website, and if that is where meetings will continue to be posted, and if that is considered duly noted.
It is where town meetings will continue to be posted. I'd like to confirm with John
Okay.
that's equals duly posted,
Okay,
but I think it is. I don't know why it wouldn't be.
okay.
This is the red line with your changes. John's is separate, but I can pull that up separate, or a second. if you'd
Okay,
like.
I don't think his was redlined, so
No, it
it's just
wasn't.
harder to see. And I don't do
Yes,
it.
I think that the duly posted would be following the procedures we follow now. You know,
Okay. Which is
48-hour notice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
On the
We
website.
post it downstairs on the website.
Right.
Widely advertised is like how we post it, right? So
Okay.
So I think the intent of the committee was to say, hey, don't just use your normal venues, go beyond it.
Do what you can,
Yes.
right. But at
Yeah,
a
the
minimum.
Hingham Anchor maybe.
At a
or-
minimum, follow the
Yes.
OML and then do more as you can, as you're able.
Right, like maybe, sometimes we send out emails
That's
to
right.
Yes,
the town, we try to, maybe we ask Hingham Anchor to cover it.
Absolutely.
I think that probably was what they're asking for.
yes, so we have, using available town listservs,
Yeah.
disseminating
Right, that's
notices
right.
to local media. Okay. The next was under approval, I believe, and so, there was a suggestion about having, a specific number of years. And 20 years is kind of a standard that's being used currently. I think John's comment was not that specific. I don't think, he just had specific number of years, useful life of the associated asset, or until rescinded.
I would be concerned about a time length. I mean, I just, yeah. I mean, think about it. If we go through all this work to name a school coming around, we're gonna keep it for 20 years and then go back to the process again? I mean,
Well, this doesn't apply to schools. This is,
Yeah.
that building, that would be.
public
the
building,
county-
right?
Well, but it's a bigger building, Bill, so
Right.
it
Yeah.
would be like a room.
Oh, it'd be like the 25%.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know.
But still.
I still don't, I'm still not comfortable with it. I would, I just, if somebody either creates a condition and the community agrees to be named after that person, unless that individual runs afoul of our moral clause or ethics clause that we have here, I wouldn't be inclined to claw it back.
I agree, and I don't think you would be required to claw it back, right? It's just,
Well, what happens when you go to 20 years? There'll be a petition to rename it. Or,
I mean, there could be, but,
You want me to bring up his version of
yeah, so,
I mean, I'm just speaking here, I'm fine with the useful life of the facility. Like, if the facility is reconstructed or
yeah.
is rebuilt, sure, maybe you reconsider that process, but, yeah, I don't know, I'm not too comfortable with the 20 years on it.
Okay, so what John had was, yeah, any approval, blah, 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 in consultation with the superintendent of the Town of Hingham Department of Public Works, and shall be in compliance with all building, zoning, and other applicable laws, and shall specify any time limitation on said naming or renaming, i.e. specific number of years, useful life of the associated asset, or until rescinded. So, and that superintendent of the DPW is new language, I think, from our previous version.
Seems like it, yep.
So I just wanted to
Understand why he
understand
was-
that better
why he
from
wanted
John, unless one of you added that. I'm not sure where that came from. Okay.
Yeah, that's you make a good point. I was kind of curious as to why we would consult the DPW superintendent. First of all, what's the need for that?
Right.
And you know, we have a wonderful current superintendent, but I bet he wouldn't want to really be involved with it unless there's
Right.
a need for some sort of area of his expertise is being asked about.
Yes.
I will note that John's language does not ask for approval of that superintendent, just consultation with.
Right. True.
But yeah, no, John, it'll be helpful to have John's input on some of these changes.
Okay. And then also under approval, there is mention of the history, tradition, culture, values, and aesthetics. Is that? Yes. Well, did he take it out completely?
Yeah, he just changed, it's there, it's just he removed
Oh, he
mission.
changed it, okay.
Reputation, image,
So this was
integrity, and
a
aesthetics.
suggestion we actually received from a resident, which I think makes a lot of sense and is more aligned with the town, to say reputation, image, and integrity.
Right. That's right. So John had that in there, just.
Okay, yes.
Let's remove that other mission.
Do you remember this section?
I'm trying to, so what was,
It did say.
where's that going? Like, so we consider the financial benefit of the town and get that, as well as if this is naming,
So before it read, as
Yeah.
well as the history, tradition, culture, values, and aesthetics of the town of Hingham. And so the proposed change is, instead of history, tradition, culture, values, to say reputation, image, integrity, and aesthetics. It's not wildly different, but just feels more aligned
Yeah.
with our DEI.
But so, let's say, for example, we were gonna name, hypothetically, the Klein family baseball diamond on Lynch Field. How is your name have to do with the aesthetics or the aesthetics of the town? Right, like if we're naming something, I understand reputation, integrity, part.
Well,
But
the
aesthetics.
installation, right, would be aesthetics, like if you do bricks or,
Okay,
I don't know, some other material that maybe doesn't go, right? I think that's more about the aesthetics. And the name would be reputation,
Yep.
image,
yeah,
integrity.
image and integrity.
Bill, I mean, I think what I'm hearing is it may not be an and, it may be an or, because in some instances, it's going to be one, in some instances, it's going to be
Yeah, it
the
might
other.
be, or, yeah.
So just changing reputation, image, mission, I don't know, if integrity or aesthetics of the town.
So that's what John put,
That was-
reputation,
yeah,
image,
it was
integrity,
and, right,
or aesthetics,
okay.
and got rid of
Okay.
mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do we talk about financial benefit? Do we need to, and I'm not sure if this was in your earlier discussions, Joe, but do we need to talk about financial burden? Like if there's, something that's installed that then the town has to maintain or take care of that causes financial burden after it's installed? I don't know if that was part of the financial benefit discussion, or if the financial benefit is more referring to an actual donation.
Would the naming policy incur additional building? I think it would be naming the building that was already happening, that already existed, that we would then already have obligation for maintenance of. Does that make sense?
That's- So there's two issues. One
Yeah.
is the naming itself of an ongoing building would not create a burden.
Right.
But if someone wants to give $500,000 for the construction of something.
That's different.
And then there will be what Liz is talking about, sort of the burden of then maintaining it.
That's right.
But that's really part of the financial decision about whether or not we undertake the project.
Right.
Not so much the
The
name
name,
that's going to go
yeah.
with it.
Right.
And I think it is encompassed with the financial benefit.
Okay,
I don't think we need to call out burden.
okay.
I mean, it's always I mean, you raise a good point. I mean, it's always kind of an issue when we are gifted something, like, for example, we've been talking about the playground.
That's right.
A project that I was involved with years ago, and there was a question of, that group had raised so much money to create it, and then the town came back with, well, where's the money to maintain it over the years? And that group was clear in saying, hey, we're gifting this to the town. Town's got to take on some responsibility here. But I think here, where we have financial benefit, it would encompass all of it. Yeah.
Okay. And, related to the playground example, under removal, I was thinking about when we had that discussion with Mark about what to do with the rock and the bricks. Do we need to account for, if a design is changed or updated or made ADA compliant or for whatever reason, then what happens? Can we remove things?
Well, that's going to be a whole new playground. Right, so the playground example is going to be a brand-new playground. So it's not like they're changing one or two structures and putting a new slide in or putting new swings in.
Right.
It's going to be a brand-new playground.
Okay.
So I think that would classify probably as new construction and a new naming opportunity if there was one out there.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you did a brick walkway and people donated, to it or whatever, and you had some names down or something, I don't know if that would affect this or not. And the town decided that you wanted to do something else on that walkway. We wanted to build a new structure or extend the building out. You're allowed to tear up that.
Okay.
That thing. Just because you accept the money to put that down doesn't mean it has to be there forever. You're allowed to remove it if there's a financial burden to the town. Or a detriment, or
but-
it's determined to be adversely.
Yeah, but I think this
Okay.
discussion highlights the need for effective communication with the donor so that it's clear.
That's right.
That, the town reserves those rights so that someone's not surprised, 15 years later, they come back and, oh my God, that brick is gone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Which is why council has told us that whenever we get to that point of contracting
Right.
with someone, with a potential donor, if we have a donor for a naming opportunity, then he wants to make sure that they're using the town's form, which will include all of this,
Right.
all of this language to make sure that everybody is fully aware of what the town's rights are at any time.
Yes, okay. Yes, and under payments, donations, we have the standard form of agreement as drafted by town council.
Real quick, going back up to the removal policy, we have a portion of this policy, proposed policy, that would allow someone to petition us if they don't like the name of the board or the department that names something. What if someone doesn't like the removal of the name? Does that create a petition to us as well? I don't think it does. But if somebody said, if a board, department, or committee voted by a simple majority to remove a name for reasons, that we don't know, but obviously I'm sure there'll be a public discussion, can they just do that?
Says any appeal, under the appeal section, any appeal filed shall be filed in writing with the select board. Upon receipt, the board shall notify them in writing. So I
So
think-
any
I think any
appeal
appeal that
would
anybody
apply
has.
to removal as well as naming?
That's what I've understood our appeal process to.
That's a
Okay.
good point. We should clarify that.
Yeah.
That's,
See, it wasn't clear to me, but I understand your interpretation
In the,
of it.
in the appeal section on
Yeah.
the back page, at the end there. But yeah, if it's not clear, then we should absolutely
Yeah.
clarify it.
so, do you have the
Any appeal,
Article
yeah.
40
Yes.
There's no bylaw? Is that here?
That's what we passed at town meeting.
I know, but
don't
that's
have
the
it on
language
page.
that.
Yeah, I don't have it on.
It's here somewhere, yeah.
It's at the end?
Oh, is it?
Oh, 1 second, let me just take a quick look then. So it's, 3,
Well, this is pretty broad. Maybe it does cover it.
He usually writes things very broadly.
Yeah, I mean,
so-
it says any appeal, right? And said
Right.
appeal being made, so I guess any appeal probably would apply to a removal as well as a grant of a name.
Naming, renaming, or removal.
Yeah.
Like he says at the end, the final decision of the select board to approve or reject the action.
Yep.
So, whatever the action is.
Okay. Do you have any other changes?
No, I mean, I'd like to, before we vote, have John Coughlin here to
Okay,
Right.
I agree.
make sure that
Yes.
we've covered all bases.
Bill, did you have any other changes?
Nope.
That you wanted to
Nope,
incorporate?
that's it.
Okay, all right, so we will take this up at our next meeting, and we plan to have John attend.
He'll be there, yep.
Okay, great. Okay, so we're not gonna vote on that tonight. Any other questions or comments on this? Any questions or comments from members of the public? All right, and thank you again for all the feedback that we've received. It's very, very helpful. All right, next on the agenda are appointments. Do you have any appointments this evening?
I know.
Can we hold this one to next week?
Sure.
Unless you want to make it, Liz?
Nope, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was going to be the, another committee, but
Okay. Yep, we can do those next time. Next on the agenda is public comment. Any comments from members of the public? Seeing none. Okay, next, town administrator, select board reports. Art?
I have nothing this evening.
Okay. Thank you. Michelle?
One quick one, we're getting very close to officially kicking off the FY25 budget season. I can't believe it's already here. So we're working hard behind the scenes to get our new budget software, ClearGov, up and running. But we expect to formally ask departments to start submitting their requests late this week, early next week. Tom's giving me the eyes.
Can't believe
And
it.
so we should be asking departments to get those back into us by mid-November. In a perfect world, we would be asking you all late in November to go into our new software to review everything that way, trying to move a little bit away from paper, but we are
Yes.
working on it.
Wonderful. Yes, thank you for all the efforts. It's hard to believe we're back here again. Bill, or sorry, Tom?
Just to underscore what Michelle is doing, that is a massive amount of work that is going to be a sea change to how we budget as a town. And Michelle's coordinating all of it, but she's coordinating all of it with a 50% transition in our 4-person accounting office. So to say Michelle is doing well is an understatement, as always.
Yes.
But thank you for everything, Michelle, on that. The software is going to be fun to see and fun to use, where she mentioned that we're hoping to be able to get the budget into all of your hands by Thanksgiving. That's always our goal every year. It won't be a big, giant 4-inch blue book anymore. It'll now be on your laptop with a link, which is the way it should be. Thank you to all 3 of you for your leadership in helping us get the funding to get this kind of software in place so we can finally get away from funding with Excel, or budgeting with Excel.
Yes.
So thank you, and thank you.
Excellent. Yes, great work. Thank you, Michelle. Bill?
I have nothing tonight, thank you.
Joe?
Just a reminder, I am having office hours tomorrow at 6 PM, 3rd floor here at Town Hall, to discuss parking issues at Town Hall, and with a particular focus on parking for senior center activities. And then just a reminder, we've got Halloween coming up. Do we have our public safety folks on deck to make sure that trick-or-treating is done safely.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Excellent, thank you. I just have one thing to report. Last week, the Master Plan Implementation Committee met. We are planning a public meeting on December 6th. The public is welcome, and we will be reaching out to all boards and committees to welcome them and invite them. Hopefully, they will join, either the chair or representative, to really kind of kick off the implementation of the master plan so that we can increase communication across all the boards and committees and make sure that everyone's kind of moving in the same direction according to the goals and recommendations set in the town's master plan. So thank you to that committee for working on that and pulling that together. Emily Wentworth and Mike Severo are helping us, and certainly hope to see everybody there. I don't think we're planning on meeting next week, so the following Tuesday. I think that's it. Any other comments, questions?
I move we
Ready to
adjourn.
adjourn?
Second.
Roll call vote, Joe?
Aye.
Bill?
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. We are adjourned at 7:50 PM. Thank you.